Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad you're with us to celebrate virtually the 2020 ULI Nashville Excellence in Development Awards. I'm Kim Hawkins, ULI Nashville Chair. After celebrating our 10th anniversary awards in 2018, we took a year off in 2019 because we were just a little busy hosting nearly 4,500 ULI leader members from around the world at the ULI Spring Meeting held here in Nashville. And then this year, we've had a few postponements because, well, you know why. And like Nashville Strong does, and because these awards are just too important, we've persevered to come together tonight to recognize development excellence and the project teams that make that happen. There's no denying it hasn't been a straight path that brought us here this evening, and life in general has not been an easy road in 2020. We're experiencing the COVID-19 health crisis and its impact on our lives, our culture, and our economy, and the March tornado that upended our homes, our businesses, and our lives, and the protests for racial equity. So this opportunity to come together now is even more valued. And it's also a good time to launch our ULI Nashville campaign for members to commit to making our region a better place to live in the coming years. We're calling it #ULI Nashville Commits. And we challenge you to think about what you value in building a better Nashville. What's important to you and your firm? Is it building attainable housing, trail-oriented development, incorporating public art, housing for homeless vets? Whatever it is, make the commitment and do it. Here are some familiar faces to talk about what they commit to.
The store is essentially a free grocery store built around the concept of dignity. And that really, I think the dignity part of it comes from the choice. It operates almost identical to what you would consider a corner grocery store, but it is exclusive to people who fall on hard times. No one pays for anything. They come in and it's free food, while they get back on their feet. And the dignity aspect of this is what I think really changes it from a typical, say, handout or food pantry service. It is a thing where everything down to the name is engineered for a parent to be able to take their child to this place, say, hey, come on, we're going to the store. And the kid and the family, they all feel very normal.
The store has been our vision for years, and it's taken a lot of efforts on behalf of many people in the community and corporations in the community to all jump in and be ready. And what we didn't expect is that the store would be ready just in time for this increasing demand and this increasing need. And what happened in Nashville, these tornadoes hit, and the store had opened just a week prior. And so we were there and ready to help serve tornado victims. And then, of course, the pandemic hit. So Nashville has seen huge unemployment numbers and huge need, and we've been there ready to serve this community. So I'm so grateful to everybody that partnered with us from the beginning to help make this happen in Nashville, which is a community that really gives back, that takes care of its own, and the store is another one of those services that's ready to help.
And Nashville is where we live. When we got the idea, thought probably ought to do it here.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the keys to the store since the beginning has been the partnerships that we've garnered. Obviously, the partnership with Belmont is amazing. When ESA got involved, we were looking for partners ourselves, and so we partnered with Catalyst Design, with IC Thomason Associates, and with Ross Bryan Associates, all of whom are ULI members. And so we're happy that they were able to give something back as well. What's been really amazing is how the Nashville community, and even nationally, how we have seen both for-profit and nonprofit partners really rally around this cause. I hope that all of us, especially the ULI members, can identify what we believe is important and what we value in creating a better Nashville. and that we'll make the commitment to partner as well. And ESA's #commit is to continue to help the store in any way that we can, whether it's financially or delivering or garnering new partnerships.
Well, I'd like to say that we couldn't have done this without the help of ESA, who has partnered with us on a large scale and even the smaller levels, from designing this incredible building that's so welcoming and exactly exceeds our expectations for what the store could be, to hosting our board meetings, to David Minigan driving twice a week, showing up and driving groceries to the elderly in the neighborhood. And the partnership with ESA has made this whole thing possible, and we're so grateful. So I would love to challenge all the ULI members out there to do the same. Find your passion project and do it, and help create better cities.
Thank you, Brad and Kim Paisley, and project partners at ESA and other valued ULI member firms for sharing that great example of the good that's possible when ULI members work together. Again, we ask you all to start tonight. Following these awards, post your images and stories using #ULI Nashville Commits. Post what you believe is important to building a better Nashville and how you commit to making that a reality. Commit to action. Let's bring about positive change. Whether you're a generous sponsor of this evening's awards or a rowdy but small group toasting at home with your urban bourbon from a watch party, or tuning in from the comfort of your couch, we're so glad you're here to celebrate with us and your colleagues at the ULI Nashville Excellence in Development Awards 2020.
The Excellence in Development Awards reflect ULI Nashville's commitment to community and livability, valued partners and members, and excellence in development and placemaking. Our awards represent the mission that strong communities, good development partners, and best practices should be celebrated and shared. The challenges we find ourselves and our community in can easily curtail those lofty goals. However, in these difficult times, ULI Nashville showcases and supports the ways our community and our ULI members are resilient and excel in helping shape our future and how we overcome these obstacles to build back better.
So what's important to Southern Land Company and what we commit to really reflects that our core values are sustainability in a very broad sense, but also a very detailed sense. In a broad sense, we feel like a project like Vertus Green Hills, where we are increasing the density, but also making accommodations for transportation, transit, walkability that come with increased density, that we feel like that's a very, it's a responsibility of ours as we develop projects in these types of environments, but also creating a place. And I know that's kind of become cliche, but we really want to bring out the character of the neighborhood and create something that is identifiable as a place that people want to be.
What we are committed to with Metro Nashville is working collaboratively with the community to build what we collectively believe meets the needs of the community. There's a lot of compromise involved, and there can also be creative tension and dialogue, but through that process, I believe we create better developments that become part of neighborhoods that in the long run build a great community in Nashville.
Across our region, you'll find best practices from ULI members, whether it's boldly introducing density and scale in a mixed-use development, building an infill neighborhood with well-building standards, providing environmentally sensitive housing at an attainable price, preserving the beauty of architectural features of a bygone day in a contemporary use, or sensitively stitching together a vintage building with new standards for healthy development practices. Our members excel. Whether creating a successful new community use in a previously vacant space, including innovative industry standards and practices to benefit Nashville's future, artfully building in a mixed-income community, providing workforce housing in a high-demand corridor, or including a new design paradigm in an institutional use. Our members excel. So, here we are celebrating the projects of the ULI Nashville Excellence in Development Awards 2020 as Cluster Cottage Homes celebrate community, how an incubator, locally based commercial project serves a need. Extraordinary architectural design establishes a timeless new campus icon, and company headquarters incorporates healthy lifestyles and green space regional development. Our members excel. So, we have a lot to be thankful for and to look forward to. Although many of us are separate from one another, now is the time to work together. Like the teams of those excellent projects, we must work stronger in concert to envision our best future and then take action to make it a reality.
There we go.
Well done.
All right, here we are again.
Greetings to everyone out there. I'm John Dwyer, your awards MC for the past several years, and I'm back again. I'm like a bad rash. You just can't get rid of me. I'm used to seeing you might get rid of me after that line. But I've been seeing this the last few years where there's almost 700 attendees seated shoulder to shoulder in a ballroom, not 6 feet apart and a bunch of squares on the screen. This is definitely different, but I'm so happy to be back tonight as your master of ceremonies to help steer you through what promises to be a new and very exciting event. We'll be celebrating our award sponsors for their generous support, checking in on some watch parties. Even in a pandemic, ULI Nashville members find a way to network. There will be some polling for you to participate in, and we encourage you to show your enthusiastic support. Make it come through the screen, and honoring the awards teams with your chat messages and your Zoom screens with cheers or pantomime applause. Starting tomorrow, please be sure to leaf through the awards virtual table program that will be on the ULI Nashville Awards website page. It features all of the award sponsors and all of the 2020 projects and their project teams. Also on that awards website, you'll find a video clip for each project with some of the judges' comments. So, stay with us through this evening's hour event like you would in the ballroom. And yes, many of us, I'm calling you out. I know you're wearing shorts. It's business up top. It's party on the bottom. I get all that. I have my good shorts on. You may have dog or child on your lap, but no matter, we're glad you're here. Tonight remains a valuable evening for ULI members to come together to learn about best practices and excellence in the projects being celebrated and to give appreciation to your colleagues. It's going to be a fun evening. Let's start out with an icebreaker poll. That's right, to make sure our tech is working. We've had a glitch or two over the past several months. You probably have, right? So we want to make sure this works. Here's the deal. You can cast your vote by texting the word ULI 2020 to the number 22333. What are you most excited about for 2021? Lower local taxes? Presidential election has passed? In-person ULI Nashville Awards? Safe and effective COVID-19 vaccine widely distributed? Or a Titans winning season? So you are most excited for 2021. Are you kidding me? You did not pick in-person ULI Nashville Awards. Isn't that, well, we understand. We're going to have that. We hopefully will have a vaccine. Titans 3-0, probably undefeated after this weekend because they won't be playing. Lower taxes, lower smashes. We don't need that. A presidential election has passed. That's the number one thing you picked. Is it really going to be over? That question. I love your enthusiasm and your optimism that we're going to get back to some normalcy. Wouldn't that be great? But I do think in-person National ULI Awards will be something we'll look forward to as well. In person, you and me together again. All right, thanks for playing, and let's move on and check out several of the very cool watch parties in around the Nashville area. Let's check them out.
Check them out. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, there we go.
Oh, we're frozen. Hi from KCI Technologies. Woo! Woo!
Comes up first. Yeah.
Master Construction. We are building with ULI. Yeah! Woo!
All right, how are you doing, Studio Bank? Our ULI National Treasurer, Seth Butler's there. Thanks for the watch party idea, Seth. We need this type of thinking on our leadership team. How about our award sponsors at the 5th and Broadway Brookfield Watch Party? That was a great virtual project tour you took members on earlier this month. Exciting to see your project and for the African American Music Museum to open in 2020.
Hey, from 5th and Broadway. How's it going, everybody? Cheers.
For 2020, the centerpiece of the ULI Nashville Awards is to celebrate development excellence, share those best practices, and recognize the entire development team. Every year, there are a bundle of projects that demonstrate excellence, which makes it exceedingly difficult for our out-of-town judges who this year were from Detroit, Columbus, Ohio, and Denver.
It's been a fabulous experience to be part of the ULI Nashville Excellence in Development Awards. The level of quality that we have seen across the board, it's been fantastic. It's great to see the kind of engagement that ULI has in its partners and members. And I think at an infrastructure level, how much support there is in the community for really great projects to raise to the top and really continue to make Nashville such a great community and a place to live.
Agreed. I think things that really stood out for me, first, we saw such an incredible diversity of projects and things that were small and large, very creative, unusual, complex, different aspects of affordability, engagement of the community, support of the community, so many different things to choose from.
Absolutely. I had a good friend of mine who is in development in New York and does a lot of entertainment asked me, he said, does Nashville feel full? Meaning, had the development cycle reached a point where there wasn't much to do or there wasn't much innovation left? And I think after today and yesterday, I can emphatically say absolutely no. There is so much vibrancy and energy. And the thing that struck me about the tours was how much creativity was exposed by both the folks who are acting as developers, but also in the designers, also in the contractors. And it's amazing the fertility of thought that has led to some of these projects being conceived under very difficult circumstances sometimes, but executed in such a way. I was really taken by just the diversity of projects that we saw and the challenges that were overcome in the final product. Just amazing.
To scrutinize and compare many excellent projects, the judges follow a careful evaluation of pre-established criteria. The judging criteria for the awards goes beyond just good design or just a strong lease. The judges carefully consider together excellence and innovation in development, design, and construction, responding to a community need such as an environmental stewardship, building for a healthier community, or providing an affordable product, providing a catalytic effect, demonstrating financial success, and being worthy of emulation. Now, let's find out which of the 2020 projects will receive a ULI Nashville Excellence in Development Award. And by the way, fun game at home, every time you hear the word development during this gala, you have to drink. No, please don't do that. Let's not get too sloppy. But now is the time to dig into your snacks or dinner and take a swig of your urban bourbon or other libation. It's a party after all, even if it's from afar. So this is how it's going to go. We'll present the awards by category based on project size and sector. We'll hear judges' reasoning and details about the project. Then the project team will be recognized, and then we will go to the team for their acceptance speech. Please share your enthusiastic support for your colleagues with chat room congratulations, icon applause, or just support them in any other expressions for their job well done. So here we go into uncharted territory, but with eager optimism. Our first category of awarded projects will be large public sector projects. The first awarded large public sector project is Kirkpatrick Park.
Kirkpatrick Park is a fantastic and unique development whose greatest feature is a long-term plan, a strategic plan, to remediate concentrated poverty by building new workforce and new market rate units in an integrated society. It's called Envision Casey. Kirkpatrick is our first step, but what brings the community together of different incomes? Schools. Everyone wants their child to go to a great school. And in this case, there's a remarkable development just down the street called the Explore School. That's part of our vision of how we put together different incomes so that now people of low income, workforce, and market rate, their children walk to school together at a beautiful new charter school.
They were so thoughtful from the standpoint of how the buildings are maintained. The residents have principles of universal design and providing access to disabled visitors to that first floor entrance of the unit. And I think it was remarkable that they took time to study architecture that is sort of vernacular, residential, but yet give it a little bit of a spin to make it more interesting.
One of the things that I hope folks in Nashville really appreciate is that it's fairly rare to have a body like MDHA who is as creative and aggressive about expanding their portfolio of affordable housing in a responsible way that builds communities. You're already starting to see the catalytic effects of just this first phase right now in terms of the development that it encourages and inspires around it. And I was really excited to see that they are already starting to reap some of the benefits of being thoughtful about the design and executing in a way that I fully expect that as we go back to that neighborhood, we'll find it moving in a direction that is certainly more development, but also still inclusive because they're still finding a way to keep the people who live there as well. And I think projects like this have to be recognized if we're going to be serious about advancing them in the future.
MDHA is very honored to accept this award for Kirkpatrick Park from the Urban Land Institute. It's really a great project, and we thank Smith G Studios so much for their design work, creativity, and all the work they put in with the residents to make this a reality. And to R.G. Anderson, our constructor, who built a great project. Thanks to our many friends and collaborators who helped us with this project, and thank you to ULI for this award.
The second awarded large public sector project is the Tennessee State Museum.
The Tennessee State Museum is the next step in a almost 30-year plan for the North Nashville development that includes the Bicentennial Mall, the State Farmers Market, and the Tennessee State Museum. We did have a partnership between public and private sector. 1/4 of the funds were raised from private donations through the museum's nonprofit entity, the Tennessee State Museum Foundation, and 3/4 of them were provided by state funding. I think the biggest item along with this is the catalytic impact. And if you have been in North Nashville in the last 30 years, you've seen the catalytic impact of the mall development that has led to so much going on in Germantown and spreading out north and east and west across the north side of Nashville. And the museum brings one more aspect to that in that it's a cultural piece within that North Nashville element that I fully expect will add to the catalytic and synergistic effect of developing that.
I think the Tennessee State Museum is really a fantastic example of great design. I think it was wonderful that they were able to capture the sentiment of so many people in the community. The use of local marble and brass on some of the detailing is going to put Nashville really in the world class of museums.
Their community engagement process was really incredible. Reaching out and going on a road show across Tennessee. So this isn't, well, it's seated in Nashville. It's not just of Nashville. Reaching out all across the state, allowing people to put pictures out there and talk about what it is that they wanted to see in this museum, where they would want to focus. The fact that the collection featured different things at different times and the way they set up the exhibit layout to allow that to be something that is a living museum means that it's not something that you go to once as a student and then you don't need to go back to. It's always changing, it's always alive, and so it's just something that will continue to evolve, and I thought that was really magical.
On behalf of the Tennessee State Museum, we'd like to thank ULI for this award of excellence. On behalf of this project that has changed the way that we engage with the history, art, and culture in our state. Thank you.
And on behalf of the Tennessee Department of General Services, Real Estate and Asset Management Division, we thank you for this project and thank you for the award that is impacting the urban development in North Nashville.
Thank you from Compass Partners.
Thank you from Pillars Development in partnership with Compass Partners.
Thank you from all of us at UA Architects.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And thank you.
Thank you from HGA Architects and Engineers.
Thank you.
On behalf of SNME, thank you.
On behalf of HDLA, thank you.
Thank you from EMC.
Thank you from McCoy Design.
Thank you from Smith Segment Recommissioning.
Thank you from Turner Construction and all of the subcontractors that made this project a huge success.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Woo!
Happy hands.
Here we are.
Next, we'll award small private projects. The first awarded small private sector project is 225 Polk Avenue.
The former library that has now been re-envisioned was really an incredible project for me to see. I think the way that they really coaxed out the old character, preserved all of the different elements, bringing some of that exposed concrete back to life to create that Athenaeum space that brings the public in. I think when preserving historic structures like that, it's so important to have that component so everybody can experience it, and you can really see the building coming to life now, and that was really special for me.
225 was an incredible opportunity. It was a heavy lift because there was a lot that went into it in terms of the acquisition and the restoration and reviving this building back to its original intent, but then also putting our own imprint on what it means to be an architecture firm inside of a treasure like this. This building sat empty for close to 2 decades. Thankfully, the city designated it as a landmark.
I think the level of care that they took in understanding the original intent of the design from the standpoint that there were some windows that were covered with concrete panels. And they really took the time to go through the archives and understand that those were meant to be taken out, really how they loved this piece of history and brought it back to life. I think it was really a very nice, careful restoration, while at the same time, they brought up vibrancy where you could see what's old and what's new. And that kind of tension between old and new really creates a very refreshing new space. And you can see how the employees now really love that new interior and how well loved is by everyone.
As an architecture firm, we thought this would be a fabulous opportunity to save a building and do what we love the most, which is contribute to the community where we practice.
The next small private sector project is Clementine Hall.
We knew Clementine would be a challenge from the very beginning. Historic preservation was our first priority, and it really plays into what we do as an event facility. The historic preservation in this context was quite involved. It's an 1889 building in very rough condition. There was not one exposed brick, not one exposed roof timber. Everything was left to the imagination. It was a tremendous leap of faith to even embark on this process.
Clementine Hall, clearly one of my favorites. And the reason is, obviously, the owners took great care in restoring the building. They identified an opportunity where I think not everyone would have seen an opportunity, the existing church building, but they also were patient in terms of the restoration. They were thorough in terms of how they conceived of the whole property, right? So how they were able to defer some of the financial risk by identifying a co-tenant or another restaurant prospect for the next door space. Once you get inside the space, exposing the brick in a painstaking process that yields a truly magical space.
I think it took some courage for them to introduce also new materials and new palette. I love the notion that they were able to preserve, but they also were able to create something new.
The other thing that I would say about that is, I think it's also uniquely Nashville, because the success is certainly in the architectural restoration, but it's also in the type of use that you can anticipate and the type of visitor who can appreciate that space. And I think that speaks to something to the culture here. It's also a great point that as part of the ongoing operations of the facility, there is an existing place for the former tenant or the former occupant. So by having a church service in there regularly, not only do you provide a sustainable revenue component, but you also honor the history in a real fundamental and meaningful way. If we are about building spaces and making spaces that are inclusive and make a difference in communities, there's not much more pure way that you can do that. Clearly, I'm a big fan of this project.
Hey, I'm Brenna Cook.
And I'm Dan Cook.
And together, we're the geniuses behind this event space, Clementine, which is an awesome business to be in during a pandemic.
Yeah, not so much. So I want to thank the team behind Clementine, which completed the project in 14 months. First from Steelhead Building Group, James Pollard, Kyle Armstrong, and Nick Fusuda. From Dryden Architecture and Design, Nick Dryden and Amy Harden.
So what we really love about Clementine is the idea that a small local business could make an impact on a commercial district. We like to call our historic district the Lottie District, and we hope you will too.
And we want you to come down here and help develop it with us. Thank you.
The next awarded small private sector project is L&L Market.
Over the years, what I was thinking about the term L&L Market, it became together what it is today. Picking our right tenants and having a smaller shops in there. And instead of getting a national chains, having a local retailers with their love and passion and bring them in the stores in a smaller locations. It really created what LNL is today.
I think it was really refreshing to see the kind of mix of tenants that really bring in the Nashville local. He had a working incubator space for women in business, and then he paired it with a beauty salon and that local culinary experience and local products that are truly unique to Nashville. It's really a very smart move.
It's also nice to hear that the return has been very strong too. So we walked into a fully occupied building that I think achieved or exceeded their return goals, and even would exceed the return goals that even an outside, less interested owner might have there. So it speaks to a lot about the execution of the plan, that you yield a beautiful looking project, one that's great to visit, but also one that delivered an exceptionally strong financial return. So
it was great to talk to the owner who worked on the project, and truly there was a labor of love, how he really stuck to his vision, both in terms of making it a financially successful project, but also making it an architectural destination. There was great care on preserving the architecture. I think the selection of windows and the way that they're able to light harvest on those really incredible spaces. I mean, they're floor to ceiling, really tall, monumental windows that makes this space like no other really in Nashville.
I'd like to present you the 2020 Urban Land Institute of Nashville Award.
Wow, thank you. This is amazing award for me. Thank you very much. And I'd like to thank everyone who made my dream come true. Wilson Bank of Trust, Lalo Construction Team, Southeast Venture, and Southeast Venture Leasing Team. And I'd like to thank all my tenants being here with me. And also, I'd like to thank Mr. R being there with me. And I'd like to thank ULI to get this award 2020. Thank you very much, everyone.
Now we'll recognize the large private sector projects selected by the out-of-town judges. One of those winning large private sector projects is Alloy.
Alloy is actually a series of 4 projects. We have Alloy 82, which was a residential project that was built with modular units. We have Alloy 1010, which is a mixed-use project, which has some makerspace at the base. Then we have some Alloy Artisan space that is 8 artisan units where people will actually work. And then there's an industrial building that was converted to Bongo Java Roasting Company. So we've essentially activated an underutilized industrial space on a strip of land on a peninsula called Tech Hill. And this is overlooking the fairgrounds, overlooking the city with some fine views of the city. And it's overlooking what will be the future of Browns Creek Greenway. The property and the project has been a financial success, not only because of what it's done for core development in the 3 phases and the industrial building, but also because we've created attainable price points for our buyers. We were able to start selling the project at prices under $200,000. In fact, we had over 40 units priced under $200,000 in the beginning. So we're happy that we're able to essentially set up what we think is the American dream, where we get people into home ownership, particularly that workforce, so that they can start building equity for their future.
One of the things that caught my eye initially was, how do you situate something so spectacular in a place that seems so off the beaten path? But once you get in and experience the project, you recognize, you get it. And that is one of the special qualities, I think, of this development team and perhaps this ownership team, to say, here is a potential that is otherwise unrealized, and how do we create an experience that allows people to have that same sense of discovery that we have? I think we throw around the word visionary a little bit too freely, and if for some projects that are, just merely different. Here, I think it's visionary and it's inspiring. And I'll be honest, I want to live in a world where projects like Alloy are possible.
Thank you. Thank you, ULI Nashville. The Alloy team is excited and honored to accept this award. From the start, Alloy was a great project to work on because we were able to experiment with new approaches and mix so many different moving parts, and because this mix allowed us to draw on Nashville's most talented firms. It really was fun to have so many creative professionals around the table. Of course, we're also thankful to the equally creative professionals handling construction, finance, marketing, and sales. Thanks to all.
The next awarded large private sector project, Capitol View, Blocks D and E.
One of the best practices we're proud of at Capitol View is the public-private partnership with the City of Nashville. The 2.5-acre urban park has been a fabulous experience and created a place for families, employees, employers, the state of Tennessee, to all enjoy the dog park, the beach volleyball court, the playground, to stroll through the park, to run through the park.
Capitol View, for me, as a developer, I can say that a project with this kind of complexity it can be really, really difficult to pull off well. Thinking about how the building fronts the street on all the different sizes, how you're going to mass an office building, how you're going to mass residential, how you're going to maybe accommodate a grocery store and other walkable retail and so on. There's so many components to be thoughtful of. And I think thinking about the buildings as being contextual, not something that's screaming out to be separate, but really ties into the neighboring architecture, yet is distinctive in its own way.
Capitol View represented a unique stewardship opportunity to take 32 contiguous acres at the base of our state capitol at an interstate exit on a main state highway being Charlotte Pike and create a densely populated, well-planned urban district. It required a lot of thoughtful planning to create the wide sidewalks, the pedestrian-free seating zones, the outdoor activations, and really encompass what a neighborhood district could be.
I think a big part of this project and what makes it successful is that they were able to have a process of thoughtful planning. It's interesting that they had to reconfigure the shape of the buildings at some point to be able to capture views of the State House. They had some public parks where they really got the best synergy out of that to implement it as part of the project. It's very thoughtful in the way it's put together.
Capitol View began with a bold vision by Northwestern Mutual and Boyle Investment Company to transform a 32-acre brownfield site at the foot of the Tennessee Capitol building.
Kaiser Program Design is honored to have worked alongside Boyle and the design team to create the master plan, design the streetscapes, and the formal open space plazas that define this mixed-use, robust neighborhood.
Hi, I'm Angelo Carusi, a principal with Cooper Curie. I hope you're enjoying your virtual cocktail. I'm enjoying mine. From concept to completion, a project like this could not be accomplished without the help of a lot of consultants, too many to list, but all important to the success of the project. I'd like to raise my glass to our clients, Northwestern Mutual, Boyle Investments, Northwood Raven, along with all the team members for a job well done. And I'd also like to thank the ULI for this special recognition and for fighting the good fight, promoting responsible land use. Thank you and cheers.
Cheers.
It's too exciting.
Whew, all right. Sparkling beverage. We're almost done. Those award recipient projects and their teams certainly deserve a toast and deserve all of your recognition. Again, please also remember to check out the awards table program and the ULI Nashville Awards web pages for more judges' comments or project rep comments for all of the projects this year. But now, back by popular demand, it's time for you to choose your favorite as the People's Choice winner. Since there were so many excellent projects submitted, you'll vote for your People's Choice among tonight's 7 awarded projects listed on the slide. You can vote by phone by texting the word ULI 2020 to the number 22333. Okay, is everyone ready? Do you see the text number associated with each project? Text that number of the project you think best represents the ULI Principles of Excellence in Development. Okay, and congratulations to the team of Kirkpatrick Park for being recognized by your colleagues. And please remember, we're launching the hashtag ULI Nashville Commits campaign this evening. So remember to contribute your stories and posts to that hashtag.
Hey, ULI members, we're going to look so forward to seeing how you build better cities and how you commit.
Speaking of members, I'd like to thank and recognize our members and others who helped plan this evening's program. Well, with the support of our award sponsors and all the excellent projects of the 2020 program, and your good sportsmanship and patience, together we accomplished this evening's virtual award celebration. Thank you for your support as we rally together on behalf of the development teams, our development industry, and our community. Let's commit to build a strong future. Hope to see you again next year at the 2021 Excellence in Development Awards in person.